All right, guys. This is a video by Xanderhal, and it's about Boogie. The Boogie2988 drama is sad. Last time we looked at Xanderhal was when that weird short bald guy, sorry for calling him short, but was coming after him for like no reason. That weird headpiece. So I'm interested in checking this out. So let's see what we got here. Oh, a ninja star. Very cool. Very pooger.
Oh boy, oh boy. I'm about to be talking about a topic that, well, not really a topic, but actually a person, and a topic surrounding that person. But the person in question is quite controversial as far as internet figures go. Now, he's not controversial because he's necessarily done or said anything particularly offensive, at least nothing that he's stood by and would generally continuously hang from someone's reputation. Really, this figure has a bad reputation almost by default, and I'll explain why. One of the biggest reasons why this particular...
It seems like the biggest reason why he's got a bad... Well, you know, okay, so this is something I've been thinking about today. It's actually more in reference to Ethan Klein, but I think maybe Boogie adheres to some of this. I think part of it... I'm going to turn the sound off this game. It's too loud for what I'm trying to do. Boogie got really big doing skits. And then at some point, Boogie started doing commentary. And I think that and this is very commonsensical, but those are both very different things to do, is skits versus commentary. And it's like it's almost like a welder, a really good welder, changing fields to being a mechanic, but still thinking that like that welding experience makes them somehow by default a great mechanic, you know? It's like you got big doing a particular thing, and then you switched over with the larger audience to commentary, and it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you can't really hold up to the flame. You know what I mean? You can't really hold up to it. It's one of those things. And another part is that Boogie doesn't seem to be particularly... He seems to like bizarrely fence it. Like he is the centrist meme, where people make fun of centrists. There's nothing wrong with like people who would line more like the middle, but he doesn't really stand for anything. It's more like he just kind of tries to cater to every side to try to be non-controversial, but it becomes controversial because people feel that it's spineless.
The person is as controversial as they are is because they've been around for a very long time. He's been making videos on YouTube since, you know, the mid-2000s, and because of that, well, I think a lot of you Zoomers in chat, and I'm a Zoomer myself, but I remember this time, a lot of you may remember a time on YouTube when there wasn't as much moral judgment for the type of content you made, right? You could make really silly, perhaps even embarrassing content.
Not even that. You can make like flat out fucking racist content. People are like, this is incredible. Like, it's totally acceptable back then. What did Shane Dawson, Trisha Paytas? These were some of like the you know, and in fact, a lot of people from the past, I think that Jeffree Star is one of them, people especially who complain about how YouTube is dying. That's why I brought up Jeffree Star. They are memes. They a lot of people, they became reality TV stars on YouTube. And I think that YouTube has shifted in a way where there's a lot more creators on YouTube, which, you know, saturates the market a little bit. And has less, you know, because there's only so many views. There's a finite amount of views, and obviously, I think that viewership has gone up overall. But you know, there's a more saturated market for viewing people, but there's also more intelligence on the platform. There's people who are like actually trying to engage critically with things and not just be a dumb fucking, you know, show, like, you know, Jeffree Star and people like that. And they just can't cope with the change. You know, they can't cope with actually being like a changing person, right?
And you didn't have to worry about it destroying you.
True.
Right? Not to the same degree that it can today. The person in question has been on the internet and has been a fairly prominent figure on the internet since the mid-2000s, and because of that, no Nazi stuff or anything like that. And because of that, there's just...
Not based.
A long list of things they've done online publicly that you can pick and chew at and attack them over, right? Now,
yeah, so sure.
My opinion on this person in question is not necessarily important. Personally, my feelings aren't overwhelmingly strong. I do have problems with a few things that this figure has said or done in the past, but it's not Vosh. Stop saying Vosh. I do have a few problems with what this figure has said and done in the past. However, overall, I'd say I have a pretty positive opinion on him, right? I'd say overall, it's not PewDiePie. I'd say I have an overall pretty positive opinion on him. Even with the mistakes that have happened, I respect his long, what is it called? tenure on YouTube, and he has a very impressive. I've been saying he this whole time. He has a very impressive and long upload history, and his name is Boogie2988.
All right.
I'll show you guys a picture of him before I put on the video in question. Boogie has been overwhelmingly known and quite famous, even if you don't know his name, you've seen his face or you've seen the character that he very famously played, Francis, in a video or a meme or a screenshot or a story or something along those lines, right?
Okay.
And honestly, I think Boogie's gotten, a pretty hard run of things. Is he perfect? No. Has he been cringy at times? Sure. Has he said bad things, done things that are a little bit iffy? Sure. But it's always felt a little disproportionate, at least. Now, I don't follow YouTube drama and YouTube hate as much as most people do, but the hate towards this figure has always felt so disproportionate. There's so many people on the internet, so much more admittedly famous than him, who are so objectively worse, and yet so much hate seems to be centralized on this one guy.
Yeah, so I'm not like super incredibly educated on him. I will say that, but something I will say is that I just fucked that up. Is that I think a lot of it's the reaction. So I talk about this all the time, but like I think your reaction to getting canceled is much more is going to be is very impactful. I think I'd say like it's 50% of your cancellation is how you react to it almost. When Boogie gets criticism, he doesn't take it very well. to put it very lightly, he doesn't really take it very well. And I think that people are like, oh, what's up with this guy? Like, I don't respect him. And then they tend to, they tend to respect him less, obviously, because of that. I think that that's a pretty big factor in why he gets what, Xanderhal would consider a disproportionate response from people.
So, even if some of the hate is justified, it seems so disproportionate, right? And, for a while, I think you could attribute to that, well, whatever. The internet just happens to hate some people more than others. Some people would suggest it's fatphobia or even...
I was just about to make a joke about how it's fatphobic, and he fucking comes out with that. I don't think it's anything to do with fatphobia at all. If it was a girl, maybe. Dudes don't... I mean, fatphobia exists for men, too, but I'll tell you, as a guy, nobody has given a singular fuck about my weight, ever. Really ever. Women get judged relentlessly on their weight. It's far more than fucking men.
Motivations, but I don't really want to talk about that because those are obvious reasons as to why people hate other people on the internet. I really want to talk about how evil the internet can be in this segment.
Okay.
So Boogie recently put out a video in which he talked about the fact that he had lost a shit ton of money to crypto.
Yeah.
And that he needed to make a lot of content in order to financially recover from how much money he lost.
Well, that's not exactly the accurate representation. So he made a video about how he was like doing poorly because of bad investments that he made that he had previously bragged about. Is something to bring up. But he was talking about how he needs money, and it came off more as begging rather than anything else. He didn't there was one point where he's like, if I get enough members, maybe I'll start doing membership only content. It's like, well, maybe you should be doing that instead. He's in a position where like, yeah, does he get the same number of views as he used to? Absolutely not. But he has a big enough platform for him to make daily content or even more than daily content. And he just doesn't. Even now, I mean, I haven't checked his thing in a while, but he doesn't even post daily last time I checked. And when he does, it's like maybe a 4-minute video. And it's like maybe do you think that maybe it would be helpful if you post more frequently, maybe longer videos, maybe you streamed a couple hours a day, maybe put in a little bit more work? Yeah, so we have a video from yesterday. It's a 5-minute video. Then we have a video from 5 days ago. It's 7 minutes. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, why did you take it off 4 days after posting a 7-minute video? Maybe post more frequently. Put in a little bit more work. It's put in some more work. Put in the work. Stream for 2 hours. Do a little bit more. I didn't mean to do that. Post a little bit more. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like he's putting in the work to be able to ask for an increased paycheck.
To crypto. Now, a lot of people, it's easy to say, oh, well, fuck him. He lost his money to crypto. Fuck people who got involved with crypto. They were stupid. Yeah. They got what they deserved. But I don't necessarily agree that because somebody fell for a scam in crypto, at least.
Well, it's important to understand that like he made a lot of money off that crypto. He was bragging about it previously for quite a while, and then it dipped. That's what my understanding of it is. He previously had bragged about it quite a bit. So
cryptocurrencies he invested in ended up being a scam. I don't think that somebody falling for a scam, means they deserve to, like, lose everything, right? Or lose, a lot of what they have. I think that's unfair. Regardless, though, that happened a while ago. People gave Boogie a lot of shit. And then some unfortunate coincidence happened. Just yesterday, Boogie put out a video titled,
got cancer?
I have a rare form of cancer.
So I heard about that. I didn't make content out of it. My understanding, and I could be completely wrong, and I'm sure Xanderhal will get more into the specifics, is that like it sucks, obviously, but it's not like a life-threatening cancer. It's like some kind of cancer that's somehow, for lack of a better term, not so bad. I don't know how that exists. But that's like my limited understanding of it.
So let's go ahead and watch. We're only going to watch the beginning of the video because that's the most relevant part of it, and then we're going to get to the overall meat of this topic, or what I want to talk about here. Okay. Let's hear what Boogie has to say.
I often say, though, every day that I wake up is a good day. It's the one day that I don't wake up that sucks. So I've been debating for a while to talk to you guys about this, but I hope it brings you guys a little bit of clarity about some of the videos I've made in the last month or so. Because, well, you remember about 3 weeks back I said that I likely could potentially have a form of cancer.
Okay.
Turns out I got a rare blood cancer called polycythemia vera, which basically makes your body produce too many red blood cells. And when I started taking that testosterone supplement, it makes
without treatment, it can be very life-threatening, but with proper medical care, can help ease signs, symptoms, and complications. So it seems like it's very manageable.
Your body produce too many red blood cells. And when I started taking that testosterone supplement 7 or 8 years ago, however long it's been, we knew that this was a possibility. You never think you're going to be the guy who gets that side effect, though, right?
Sure,
you never think it's going to be you. But sometimes it is. It has to be somebody. But the good news is, I mean, this is a disease that takes a really long time to get you. Statistically speaking, I'll die of a blood clot or a heart attack or a stroke due to one of those blood clots. And most people, after getting diagnosed, live another 20 years. So if you're going to get a cancer, this is the one to get. You know me and my dark sense of humor. When my doctor told me all of this, I said, if I die of cancer, doc, instead of my morbid obesity, which I've been working so hard on for the last 30 years, I'm going to be pissed. And
I will say I don't like those jokes. So
Why?
Boogie2988, one of the types of content he's made the last couple of years that I've actually liked quite a bit is his.
Well, why not? That's like a cope joke. If anything, that's like the most justifiable joke he can make. He's like, doc, I've been working so hard to get fat, and now I'm not even going to die to that. What a shame. He's obviously joking, but like, what's wrong with that joke?
Weight loss updates. I've actually quite enjoyed watching as he's lost quite a bit. Isn't he a chud? No, he's not. I've actually enjoyed watching as he becomes healthier and loses weight. I mean, it's a inspiring and nice thing to see, especially if the weight loss is making the person who's losing the weight happy or happier. Something a lot of people tend to be iffy on with Boogie, and I agree, is that he tends to be a little, with his humor, and I know why he does it, and he's got an explanation for it that seems reasonable, but nonetheless, people are still off-put by it, is how wishy-washy he can be about the concern for his health, right? Like in some of the darker humor he'll be like, I've been working on killing myself with obesity for years. People don't like those jokes. When people hear jokes...
Why? I don't think that that's true at all. I think people love those jokes. Self-deprecating humor can be very funny. Okay, I actually got through it. Yeah, so self-deprecating humor can be very funny. Yeah, I don't understand like why that's a joke that bothers you. That's just like weird to me. I can understand why Boogie struggles to lose weight in the public eye. A lot of it boils down to it can be very difficult to put yourself in like that weird position where like everything is content, and then you have like this weird expectation. You're saying people have to have like this way like expectation of like success now. It just gets like weirdly pressured. I understand why he that could have been a little bit more difficult for him to lose weight in some capacity. But if you think he's saying it's trivialized the situation, okay, so like not really. I think it's a cope. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make a joke about myself because I'm upset. I don't think it's that it trivializes anything. I think it's a little pearl clutchy.
It's like that. They tend to be off-put by it. Am I the only one saying? Does anyone else agree? Does anyone else agree? Like, even if he is actively making the effort to help, like, make himself healthier, it really just kind of, it feels doomer and gives a bad vibe.
Okay.
It's kind of funny, but
dying,
it's a little dark.
so
Yeah, like, I get that. I think a lot of people are off-put by those jokes or those comments. Okay. And it's just, I think it feels pessimistic and doomery. And I think that vibe of negativity just kind of hangs over the viewer. You know what I mean?
Well, you're using the word doomery, so I'm feeling like it's giving me something. All right.
The good news is it might just give me a stroke or heart attack, which is how I was going out anyway. The scary thing about it is that it eventually can lead to some health conditions, some of which I already have: arthritis, stomach ulcers, leukemia. I could definitely develop into leukemia, but the good news is that's pretty rare. So,
well, there's different types of leukemia. There's like blood leukemia. There's like a type of leukemia that's not that bad. I know that sounds weird, but I went to a blood doctor somewhat recently, and they're like, "Yeah, you might have this." But it's like, it's not the cancer type. You'd be fucking dead. He's like, it's not great, but it's not that bad. I was like, oh, okay, and then it's not that big of a deal. I was like, whatever, dude. I think it's something to do with like producing too many like white blood cells or something like that. Something along those lines.
So I don't think that's going to happen. And there's tons of different ways to treat it. I mean, they can draw your blood, like when they donate blood, or taking a daily aspirin is going to help. Getting something to help reduce
rather than
the
draw me a
itching, which has
picture
been really well for me over the few years. Drugs that reduce the blood cell count, and things along that lines. It's pretty basic, easy stuff, especially at the.
So that's the main important aspect of the video. Yes, Boogie does have cancer. Thankfully, it is a type of cancer that is pretty unlikely to result in the end of his life early by any means. Like, it seems like he's assuming that, other health factors don't play a part. He should probably live another 20 years, right? And that's on average, right? Which, of course, isn't a guarantee. It is not a guarantee by any means, but it's, as he said before, if you're going to get diagnosed with cancer, I wouldn't say it's the cancer you want to get diagnosed with. There are plenty of other types of cancer you can get that are far less of a problem, that don't have any mortality rate at all. At least if you just deal with them, early, like there's types of cancerous skin tumors you can get and whatnot. But I overall, it's not necessarily it's not like Walter White in the doctor's office getting his lung cancer diagnosis, finding out he's going to die in less than a year, supposedly, and like the sounds go, like the ringing starts going and like everything's cut out. Not perfect. Like, not a perfect situation, but obviously not like the nightmare scenario, right? Like, okay. I'm glad that it wasn't the nightmare scenario. Despite that, though, it would be I think we can all agree it would be a pretty low blow for somebody to attack him on the grounds of his cancer, right? For those of you guys that don't remember, a very beloved figure by the name of, how am I blanking on his name right now? Total Biscuit. Very famous figure by the name of Total Biscuit. Died of cancer, it was 7-8 years ago now.
Okay.
It's like back in 2015, 2016, so it'd be like 7 years now. A while ago. It's been a hot minute, though, but a beloved internet figure, someone who's got... If you type LOL W in the chat right now, that's him. Type LOL W in chat. Okay. That is him. He's literally gone down in history as the iconic emote LOL W. That's him. That's his face.
Ooh.
How John Total Biscuit Bane became the LOL W emote. The original image was taken at MLG Anaheim 2013 by photographer... Okay, yeah, so basically, here's the full image. Slightly cut off, it appears, for some reason, but that's the more full image. Okay. That's the LOL S version, just the LOL version. It's not LOL W. Anyway, as you can tell, he died of cancer, and when he had cancer, there were some of the biggest assholes online attacked him for it, and their reputations still bear that mark because of how low of a blow it was considered to attack him, or like on the grounds of his cancer, right? Okay. One of the people who said this was Keemstar. Let me see if I can find it. Keemstar, Total Biscuit.
Why am I not surprised, huh? Okay, all right.
Biscuit. I think this is it.
Look, you fucking piece of shit. I've been fucking watching you for years. I've been a fan of you for years. Out of the blue, you tweet at me, "You're not news," and then you fucking block me? Why? Oh, I've never even fucking said anything about you at all. Like, now I want to. Now I want to be like, can't wait to report your death. Like, seriously. What's wrong with you, asshole?
Yikes. Yikes. Oh, wants to play my theme song. Good job, YouTube. You're a little bit early for it, or a little bit late, I guess, but good autoplay choice. Yeah, so, that's one that he's not quite lived down, even though he's a cockroach. That type of behavior, that type of rhetoric was seen as pretty disgusting and a low blow low enough that it just wasn't the kind of thing that people would defend or engage in a broader sense. But no. For some reason, it seems that Boogie has passed a level of, I guess people hate him enough that this is fine now, like engaging in...
Well, listen, I mean, my understanding, I could be wrong, is that they're friends in some capacity. So if the next thing you're going to say is that Keemstar made fun of Boogie, it could be in a friendly capacity. I don't really know, but we also I mean, we've established that it's not like nearly as bad as apparently the type of cancer this other guy, Total Biscuit, has had. So that they're a little bit disanalogous in that sense. So,
in like these low blows is fine. So Boogie put out a few tweets recently that goes over this. Let me go down the line and see if I can find. Here it is. So this is where he starts talking about it. So the rumor mill has decided that I'm faking my cancer diagnosis.
okay.
Let me address this
Who said that?
and only one time. I don't think he only addressed it once, but let's watch this clip. Just so you guys can get a little bit of a glimpse into the internet.
Hey, sorry about my voice. I'm getting over the flu, but I wanted to say thank you to the people that have reached out in the last 24 hours. Content creators, YouTubers, fans, friends, even people that don't even like me have had nice things to say, and I'm really grateful. Thank you.
I'm glad.
I have a favor to ask of those people, though, and I'm sorry to have to ask anything. But I see the rumor mill's creeping back up again. The same rumor mill that's accused
By the way, this video isn't as like a favor to Boogie or anything like that. I saw this happening and I felt an internal desire to talk about this. And I'm going to give my overall thesis on why I'm covering all of this after this segment. So yeah.
me of God knows what else. And this time they've decided that I am faking my cancer diagnosis. And whereas I know that those
I mean, listen, dude. I haven't seen a single person do that. Then again, I don't have Twitter because it's a toxic fucking cesspool. Are they actual like rumors with traction, or is it like 4 people on Reddit? You know what I mean? I feel like that's a pretty big. It's a pretty big difference between the two. I know I can get something in here, and it's really pissing me off that I can't fucking get in here right now. Okay, let's see.
people know better. I know that nobody's that fucking stupid. It's still going to spread like wildfire. So number one, if you're that kind of person, fucking stop. I get it's fun to LARP about me. I get it's fun to pretend that I'm a piece of shit. And I get that I made my mistakes in the past.
I never want to LARP with you, Boogie.
Cancer's not something to pretend about.
I already kind of am right now, though. I think I'm still sexier.
Cancer's not something to joke about. Cancer's not something pretending that I'm lying about. Cancer for clout and views is a fucked up thing to do. Get help.
My mom and my mom and my aunts, my uncles joked about my aunt's cancer one time. They made fun of her because she's losing her hair. And I know it sounds terrible, but it was actually a really nice moment. My family likes to joke about things, and she had a laugh, and then she got through her cancer, so it was nice. Sometimes it's okay to joke about cancer. PSA, guys. Not really in this context, though. I mean, in that context, it's like a more intimate situation, you know, brothers and sisters and all that. Bro, I know I can get this in here. This is so fucking annoying.
Secondly, if you see a YouTuber saying that I'm faking the shit, link it to me. I normally free speech advocacy, the whole 9 yards, but it's time I finally put my fucking foot down if I have to. So I will.
With what?
Based.
Okay. And thirdly, if you see the shit in comment sections, if you see videos about it, shout these motherfuckers down. Let them know.
Okay. I mean, I understand this frustration. I just... How many videos could there really be of people doing that? I think it's not that widespread of a problem. Not seeing any videos about it. Okay. Whatever.
Let them know reality. I get that it's fun to pretend. I get that it's fun to dunk on me and try to ruin my life. I get it. But fuck you if you're doing that. I don't want to let you this time.
Huge chat.
Thoughts on my man Andrew Tate. I've talked about Andrew Tate a lot.
Only open.
Let's see what we got here. The newbie. Sorry, I thought you were Deaf Noodles for a second, to be honest with you, because I can't fucking read. I don't know, dude. I'm not a particular fan of Andrew Tate. Seems like a genuine guy. Obviously, the manosphere in general is pretty regressive, pretty sexist. That would be where I'd have the issue with him. So yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of money, dude. Nice Bugatti, very successful, obviously. But
I've let you every other time. I didn't give a fuck what you had to say.
it's right here, dude.
But cancer's not a thing that we're going to joke about, okay?
Right
Cancer's
here.
not a thing that we're going to pretend I'm lying about. That's not a thing we're going to do, okay?
Wait,
So, I want to talk about hate on the internet.
I got it.
So, I think it's a pretty normalized idea that, like, the internet is hateful. And that's just
Sure.
something you just kind of accept and move on with. People don't really think about why. Why is the internet so hateful? Why are people so desperate to behave in ways that I don't even think they would in real life?
Well, no, yeah, of course.
Just to be the most horrific they can be. Like, literally, a guy has cancer. And I mean, even if we're, obviously in this case, it's not as bleak, but even in the case of, say, Total Biscuit, there were people who would engage in this type of rhetoric, you know, the trolling, right? Because I guarantee the vast majority of the people that are claiming Boogie is faking his cancer, if they were really pinned down on it, they'd claim they were trolling. Because that's always the go-to, right?
We
like,
do
oh,
a
it's just
little
trolling. It's
trolling
internet
here.
trolling. It's just trolling, guys. It's just trolling.
We have a little fun here.
Obviously, this is not a good excuse. I think most people in my community can agree it's just trolling as justification for bad behavior is not a very good justification. You know, like if some Nazis out there saying, I think the Jews have gone too far. We gotta.
You kind of look like the consumer me. What does that mean? I'm not really sure what you mean.
But we got to do something about it. Like you guys would not accept the response. Oh, I was just trolling. You know, and you shouldn't. You really shouldn't. With that said, Boogie continued with a few more tweets, and I want to continue them before I get to my thesis. Hey man, to make it very clear, make fun of cancer all you want. It's super fucked up, and dark humor helps us deal with fucked up things, but we're not going to pretend I'm faking it. That shit won't stand. I wrote about this in my book, and maybe I'll post it as a YouTube video one day, but she worked hospice center. Okay, I think it was unrelated. Oh, yeah, his mom worked in hospice, and he hates cancer. I blocked like 200 accounts today on Twitter. All of them have a few things in common. They are down the QAnon rabbit hole. They pick on other YouTubers like DSP and Wings. They're notorious assholes. Nothing of value is lost. Yeah, so as you can see, like Boogie's definitely had to go on a bit of a blocking spree on Twitter, which is understandable. I think blocking for your own mental health is completely valid. There was this time, like in 2016, when the whole like, oh, you blocked someone on Twitter. Oh my God, you marketplace of ideas. You've lost the argument because you blocked him on Twitter. Like, that was like a big thing. People don't really do that anymore. It's kind of accepted. Yeah, people are being an asshole. Block them on Twitter. Don't engage. Who cares? That's what you're supposed to do. However, I really want to talk about the nature of hate on the internet. Why people behave this way. Specifically, why it's okay perceptually. Because I have not seen like an outspoken, statement by really a lot of big public figures that maybe are in the community of people that would be pushing this kind of shit, denouncing it, right? Not on the same level as you'd see it for, say, another figure. One who's maybe more liked on the internet. So, it's time to bring it around to cancel culture. That's right. Boogie is a victim of cancel culture. Those that have canceled him would never admit that they've canceled him or that they're part of cancel culture because they tend to be very right-wing, but that's what they've done. They've engaged in cancel culture. And because of that, Boogie has basically been labeled by the internet as bad person. And it's funny because nothing that Boogie has done has really been that bad from what I can tell. And I followed the guy about as close as you can follow another figure online without it being obsessive since like 2009. You know, he's been around a hot minute. Like, I don't feel like he's done much bad overall. And I'll look in spaces that he's appeared in. He's appeared on the PKA podcast a few times. I almost want to do a whole segment about how the PKA podcast accidentally fostered a community that hates them. Like how the hosts of PKA accidentally created a community of haters. Like just through their lack of moderation of their community. I wanted to make a video about that for a while now, but PKA, he's appeared on that podcast a few times. And when you look at any comment section where he talks about anything, it's just the most vile insults and attacks you can imagine, right? And I guess that's to be expected because that's the broader behavior of a lot of the internet, and the PKA kind of has a more hyper toxic community compared to the rest of the internet even. But it's interesting how once you've been designated a canceled individual, even in the broader part of the internet, nothing.
Well, I think he's gone to the point of like lolcow at this point. It's gone pretty. It's not really just canceled person. The guy's like a fucking lolcow at this point. He's like a meme.
Bad is off limits, right? Like the lowest of low blows, the lowest of low attacks are completely on the table. And the thing that's so funny to me is that one of the biggest things used to cancel Boogie was a clip where he was referring to his haters as being bad people. And now his haters are like celebrating and or accusing him of faking his cancer and being outright objectively bad people. And yet that clip of him calling his haters bad people went viral and ended up getting a lot of shit. I just think it's funny how like in the long run he ended up being vindicated. And yet the thing that he did that he's been vindicated for is used as justification for the behavior that is vindicating his take. It's all cyclical, right? This is not uncommon. There are a lot of people on the internet who've been designated, you're bad. Everything bad that happens to you is justified. And yeah, fuck you, right? Nobody can do it. Like, nothing's off limits. And it's just funny to me that at the end of the day, the worst things...
I just feel like, listen, how many actual people are invalidating his cancer diagnosis? Like, is it actual people or is it a bunch of dumb little Twitter fucks? I know he said, I blocked 200 people, but I also don't know if that's just, if that's him being like accurate about the number. He might just be like inflaming that number a little bit. Like, is there, I don't know. I feel like, is it that much of an epidemic here? You know, is it that much?
Boogie has done is A, be a public figure that's overweight, and B, be a public figure that's overweight and left-wing. Listen, being overweight alone isn't enough to get you a shit on the internet. Obviously, like the quartering, for example, he's fine. But being overweight and openly left-leaning online, that will absolutely... You fall into a stereotype at that point that makes you, I guess, not a person anymore in the eyes of a lot of people online, and instead...
Boogie called his trolls worse than Nazis and rapists? No, he didn't. Wait a minute. Boogie calls trolls worse than Nazis. Is that real? You have to be lying to me. Is there anything that you could show? Is that fucking real? Oh, I have to see it for myself.
I'm going to stay online, and I'm going to stay
Whoa, he's playing World of Warcraft instantaneous based. Holy fuck.
alive as long as I can. I'm going to waste as much of your time as you can. I'm going to say as much shit and do as much shit as I can to keep your attention so you don't do it to somebody else.
What a martyr. Oh my god. I'm going to do this stuff just so you pay attention to me and you don't go after other people. Okay. That's a little crazy.
I'm here for you to torture me and only me. I'm going to make a living letting you torture me. I'm going to be the next Dark Side Phil. I'm going to be the next Wings of Redemption.
What is
I'm going to
this?
spend every day online to keep you fucking busy so you don't do it to somebody else. So bring it.
All right.
But I want you to know,
Okay.
I think you are the lowest of the low. I think you are the worst of the worst. I think that there are fucking rapists and Nazis out there who, even though they are rapists and fucking Nazis, they are more redeemable than you because at
What is
least they're
this?
doing something they fucking believe in.
Oh, is this an attempt at humor? This is not good. Oh my god. Maybe if he was a little extra edgy, he might be able to get away with this. Maybe if he was Ethan Klein 2016, he'd be able to get away with this joke. I don't know if he's joking or not.
They may be pieces of garbage. They may be pieces of shit. They may harm other people, but at least they believe what they fucking stand for.
Holy gee. Wow, what a base take from Boogie, guys. Holy fuck. Hey, at least Nazis believe in so. Hey, at least that woman that was raped, at least that Nazi, excuse me, he probably is a Nazi. At least that rapist really believed in him. What the fuck? What is this? Dude, what? Dude, this is unhinged. This is fucking pure goblin. What the hell's happening? This is actual goblin mode. Yeah, maybe they believe in hating him.
You stand for nothing.
Oh my god.
You stand for nothing.
Personally, I'd rather have a boogie troll that stands for nothing than a fucking Nazi or a rapist that stands for killing Jews and being rapists. I don't understand this take. So really, this is a really dumb. Holy fuck.
Even a disgusting piece of shit rapist is better than you.
Wow.
Even a
I disagree, Boogie.
piece of shit
I disagree.
racist garbage Nazi is better than you.
Okay.
You are the
disagree.
worst.
Okay. Xanderhal, I was going to say, my brother, that that didn't seem to be a particularly accurate representation of what he actually said. That was a little rough. Xanderhal seemed to downplay that a little bit. Just a scooch. Just a little squatch. What did he say he said?
Be a public figure that's overweight and left-wing.
I don't even know.
I guess
Go
not a
back.
person anymore in the eyes of a lot of people online, and
Okay.
instead some sort of archetypical stereotype that
Okay.
doesn't have a soul or feelings, and you don't need to feel any remorse or empathy towards.
This is a
And
little
the final
rough
part of
take.
this really is empathy, right? Empathy
guess.
is a rare commodity online. It really, really is. And I think a large part of that is the average age of internet users. Internet users tend to skew pretty young. And if any of you watching me right now have recently been in high school or are in high school, how many of you can relate to the lack of empathy in people like that age?
Okay.
A lot of young people just principally do not believe that being good for goodness' sake is
Santa
worth
Claus.
doing.
So be good for goodness sake. Look at that. Fucking I don't even remember this guy's name. Xanderhal dropping that casual Fatphobia against Boogie by referencing Santa Claus. Oh my goodness, I couldn't even see it coming, dude.
Being a good person and doing things for the sake of making other people happy does not compute for them.
Sounds kind
which
of
is a large part of why edgy humor, of which, you know, cruelty is essentially the drive, the fuel for it, tends to be popular among very young people. Okay. And outside of that, people who wish they were still young. Like, the kinds of people online right now that are...
I guess some people. I mean, some people just enjoy edgy humor, too. I mean, it's not that deep, so I don't think it's always that deep, but...
Saying Boogie is faking his cancer, I guarantee are the types of people that wish we were back in the leafy...
Bro, it just doesn't seem like there's actual people saying that. Like, I'm sure somebody's saying that. Don't get me wrong. But it doesn't seem to be like a collective of people truly saying that. It seems to be some people on Twitter. Those aren't people, as we all know. Those aren't real people. Those are fake people, but...
here age of YouTube, and they miss that age, and they can't let go of the 2016 YouTube era, and they're like, oh, but things were so much better back in the leafy era. Oh man, I missed that era. That was so good. Like back when every bit of content and all humor was based around abject cruelty and lack of empathy for others. I think that's basically the remnants of that tendency still marring the internet that's causing a lot of this. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about and why I wanted to talk about this and why this social analysis is important? The left seems very...
I'll be real with you, bro. It doesn't seem that important. It seems I don't think that Boogie's getting hated just because he's fat. I don't think it's just that. I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I feel like after you misrepresented the whole Nazi rapist clip, maybe you weren't the best person to speak on this particular topic. But that's just a game theory. Twitter people, yeah, dogs, animals, you know, fucking pickle heads. What do you think of that?
Unwilling to accept that a lot of young people, even though young people tend to skew progressive, young people also tend to skew edgy as fuck. And a lot of what they conceive as being edgy humor is a lack of empathy and care for others, and cruelty made humorous, right? Like, there's a difference between dark humor and, like, here's a video of a child... I'm pulling from a direct example from my edgelord phase when I would hang out in edgelord Discord communities. Okay. There was a video that I saw once that was just a child. Just a child falling onto a train track and getting run over.
Jesus Christ, that's horrible. Oh my God, that's not funny. It's just like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. Oh my God. What did you... Holy shit. That's fucking horrible. Jesus Christ, dude. I keep seeing these videos in my TikTok feed of dogs getting killed by other dogs. It's fucked up. Obviously, babies aren't dogs, but just came to mind.
I'm guessing like Africa somewhere, like, is the best I can pull from, like, the environment and everything. Like, that is the type of humor that 15, 16, 17-year-olds share around and say, look at this, look, gore, look, disgusting. Like, they'll, like, just the most, like, horrific shit is all that they can glean humor from. And it's always, like, the suffering of others, right? Many of you guys in chat are weirding right now and like, manga-essing, but if any of you have ever been exposed to, like, the average, like... When I was in high school, the average Discord server ran and operated by people my age back then, and I'm sure it's not gone away now. That was the type of shit you would see. Okay. Unless it was a definitively left-wing Discord, that's the kind of shit you see. Anyway, I think it all kind of rolls back to the same basic concepts of a lot of people on the internet are young, lacking in empathy. They haven't developed it yet, and those that are older tend to be emotionally stunted man-children who really, really miss the days of when the haha funniest content online was just... bullying. Like, remember when, like, the most popular content on YouTube would be like Leafy bullying a kid with autism? He ended up getting shit for that down the road, and it led to his downfall. But there was a time when, like, Leafy is here singling out neurodivergent people on the internet and just bullying them was the peak of internet commentary content. And that is what these same people fucking wish for. Oh, they miss it so much. Back when just bullying autistic kids on the internet was content you could monetize and make a living off of. Oh, they miss it so much. They
I was never around for
You have no
days.
idea. Their heart yearns for it. Anyway, I think that's the type of mindset and the type of
hey, the heart
person
wants
that's
what the heart
pushing
wants,
this type of
right,
hate.
guys?
And I feel like the fact that the hate has been so strongly directed towards Boogie in this case, someone who, and I'm going to be real, maybe there's plenty of reasons to criticize Boogie.
There are, yeah.
But there are so many people so much worse and so much more famous, influential, wealthy, and larger than him that get literally no hate. Like,
I guess so, but I mean, isn't that like, isn't that what the debaters call whataboutism? You know what I mean? It's more of a sphere thing. He's in like a particular sphere. People fuck with him a lot. He could simply disconnect from the sphere. He doesn't. Like, I don't know what you want to tell you. But okay.
No criticism. And yet this guy gets almost nothing but criticism. When I hear Boogie mentioned, it's to hate on Boogie, almost always. Outside of communities that are talking about him in a positive way almost exclusively. Like, it really does feel as though there's a massive double standard for this guy.
I guess.
Just a fucking huge one.
I don't think so.
And, you know,
okay.
it's just something I've noticed, and that's where I think it comes from. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications so you get so you know. YouTube tells you when I go live or upload a new video.
Wait a
you can
minute.
also support me by following my social medias, all linked down below in the description on pretty much every platform I stream or upload on. And of course, finally, if you want to support me financially, you got the money for it, and you don't need it for anything else, you can consider supporting me financially through my website, Xanderhal.com/.
Give me your money, even if you need it.
YouTube, Twitch,
That's what I would say.
Stream or Patreon. But as always, regardless of how you support me, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.
Oh, you poop cleaner. All right, that was interesting. Gonna have to give a little bit of a disagreement there to some of the shit. Gonna have to give a little bit of a hard disagreement to some of the shit he was saying there. I don't think Boogie gets like a magical, disproportionate like amount of fucking hate. I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. I don't think that. It kind of made it seem like Boogie was a little bit of a victim here. Feels a little. I don't know if it's particularly accurate. That's all I'm trying to say. But okay. Say less, Queen.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.